Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dallas Cowboys training campsite catches fire in Oxnard. A fire broke out at the Dallas Cowboys training campsite in Oxnard. The Oxnard Fire and Police Department responded to a call of a fire at the team's hotel. The Cowboys staff writer Patrick Walker said the fire did not interfere with the team's walk tours on Tuesday, which was several hundred yards away from the fire. No one was in the room that caught fire and no one was hurt. The Cowboys issued the following statement. There was a fire emergency in one of the guest rooms this afternoon at the team's hotel in Oxnard, California. The emergency was contained to one room that was empty at the time, and there were no injuries. The Dallas Cowboys thanked the Oxnard Fire Department and Oxnard Police Department for their quick response and reaction to the situation. Fire breaks out in guest room at Cowboys Hotel, no injuries. The Oxnard Fire Department and police were called to the Dallas Cowboys training camp home at the River Ridge Residence Inn on Tuesday because of a fire in one of the guest rooms. The fire was contained to one room that was empty at the time, and nobody was injured, according to the team. As fire personnel dealt with the situation, players and coaches were preparing for their late afternoon walkthrough after a near 2-hour practice earlier in the day. The Cowboys take over the entire campus of the River Ridge Residence Inn for players, coaches, front office staff, support staff and other personnel. No non-Cowboys personnel stay on property during the team's stay in California. The Cowboys hold their final padded practice of camp in Oxnard on Wednesday, and after a brief walkthrough and autograph session for the camp volunteers, they will return to Dallas on Thursday. It's hard to believe, but Dak Prescott now has even more leverage over the Dallas Cowboys after the first week of preseason. Sure, it's only one game, but Trey did nothing to suggest he can take over the reins if the Cowboys were to move on from Prescott in 2025. Entering the final year of his contract, Prescott will eventually become the first quarterback in NFL history to make $60 million per year. Lance developing into a starting caliber QB would complicate Prescott's negotiation, but he hardly resembled a backup last Sunday against the LA Rams. It is hard to envision Lance sticking around in Dallas beyond this season. The front office may be reluctant to cut bait with the 24-year-old if Prescott doesn't sign an extension before Week 1. Assuming they are true to their word and are committed to Dak, though, they have every reason to trade Lance if a buyer comes to the forefront. Well, it just might be the Cowboys' lucky day. Over the weekend, Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy suffered a torn meniscus in his preseason debut and will undergo surgery. Doctors were initially weighing whether to trim the meniscus, which would allow McCarthy to return in less than 2 months, or do a full repair, which would knock him out for the entire season. Vikings could trade for Cowboys' Trey Lance after J.J. McCarthy knee injury. In a devastating development, McCarthy underwent a full meniscus repair Wednesday morning and will miss the entire season, per NFL Media's Ian Rappaport. #Vikings first-round QB J.J. McCarthy underwent a full meniscus repair this morning and is out for the 2024 season, sources tell me and at Tom Pelissero. The repair, done by Dr. Chris Larson at Twin Cities Orthopedics, gives McCarthy the best chance at a long, successful career. pic.twitter.com/T5E5LCVPWoo. McCarthy wasn't expected to start Week 1. Sam Darnold has taken nearly all of the first-team reps in training camp and started Saturday's game. However, this is a devastating blow to the Vikings. Behind Darnold, who's yet to play a full NFL season himself due to injury, Minnesota has journeyman Nick Mullins and 2023 first-round pick Jaren Hall. It would seriously behoove the Vikings to make a move at quarterback now. The league hasn't showed much interest in Lance after he flamed out with the 49ers, but Minnesota reportedly kicked the tires on trading for the former number 3 overall pick last year after Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles. That same regime is in place, so perhaps they view Lance as a possible contingency plan. While Lance displayed pedestrian vision and accuracy on Sunday, he showed flashes that resembled the player the 49ers traded a king's ransom to trade up and draft in 2021. It's a long shot, at best, that the Vikings come calling again for Lance, and the Cowboys may be reluctant to accept defeat on last year's trade. However, McCarthy's unfortunate injury has at least carved a path for Dallas to recoup some value for the third-year quarterback. Cowboys QB named potential trade candidate amid roster battle. The Dallas Cowboys know Dak Prescott is their starting QB, but the battle for the backup spot is still alive and well in Dallas. Trey Lance and Cooper Rush are currently competing for the number 2 spot on the depth chart, but Lance has been named a potential trade candidate. On August 20th, Bleacher Report writer Ryan Fowler explained Lance's situation and possible desire to return to an NFL starting job. 2024 is a critical year for Lance, who needs development and on-field experience at 24. Lance is in a battle with Cooper Rush for the backup role, so there's no guarantee that he will be QB2, Fowler wrote. Even if he wins the backup job to put himself one snap away from action should Prescott suffer an injury, Lance may value the chance at winning the QB1 job with a team lacking an established starter. Having a prospect like Lance as a backup is an ideal situation for the Cowboys. It gives Dallas the cover needed while also potentially realizing Lance's potential. However, it would be difficult to turn down a relatively high draft pick in exchange for Lance. And considering the Cowboys still have Rush on the roster, they still have a serviceable backup if they do make a trade. Dallas HC speaks on Lance's recent performance. In the Cowboys' 27-12 preseason win over the Las Vegas Raiders, Lance looked as good as the team could have hoped for. The former North Dakota State star threw for 151 passing yards, ran for another 34 yards, and also scored touchdowns via passes and rushes. It was a considerable step up from Dallas' 13-12 loss to the Los Angeles Rams in the first preseason game, and Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy admitted it. That being said, McCarthy also identified the ways Lance needs to improve. "I thought we improved today starting with Trey," McCarthy said according to the Dallas Morning News. "The third down conversions, we missed a couple there. But 2 14-play drives, that's incredible for preseason football. It just shows you his understanding and confidence, and he just needs to continue to play. He needs reps, he needs to play in live games, particularly in the drop-back phase, because he's doing a very good job managing everything else. So I thought he clearly took a step today." That's a very positive message of support, and it isn't the only praise Lance has gotten in the Cowboys organization recently. On August 17th, Jerry Jones appeared on a pregame show to field questions ahead of Dallas' second preseason contest. The Cowboys owner was asked about Lance, and he responded with high praise for the QB. "He's a great athlete. If we were really trying to win a game during the season, there'd be a different game plan. And you'd use his legs a lot," Jones said on 105.3 The Fan according to The Athletic's John Machota. "You're gonna see Trey tonight working out of the pocket, working on his footwork. I can see why San Francisco gave 3 ones to draft him. The 49ers and Lance did not work out, but it's hard to say that the QB got a fair shake. He is yet to get a proper opportunity with Dallas, but the team is publicly backing him up as things stand.